me, your old pal, Mr. Inconsiderate again. Okay, so right this time, I wanted to do the whole obviously, movies that gave me a skin or ass or something. I wanted to talk about a flick that not a lot of people have seen. In fact, seems to be largely forgotten. This has not had any kind of releases past VHS, I don't think, and does not seem to be streaming anywhere. But I want to take a minute out to talk to you about a movie called 84 Charlie Mopic, known sometimes as 84C Mopic. Now, this came out in 1989 and is a found footage war movie. Yeah, you don't hear a whole lot of that. Just low budget found footage war movie. And mainly concerns a little a little squad in Vietnam where one of the members is they all have funny little nicknames like let's see, there's like LT and OD, and then there's like Easy and Pretty Boy and Hammer and Cracker and guys like that. Then there's a guy named Mopic, and he's kind of like employed by the army to kind of go in and shoot film of the war, and then kind of report back to headquarters with that. Just kind of showing them, here's what's happened, here's kind of what we're learning and whatnot. And so he's the guy. The whole thing is kind of seen through his lens, and you kind of he only pops up here and there as appearing on camera or anything. Largely, he's just kind of like the POV. He's the eye of the movie, and kind of like the uninvolved observer. And I can't say there's any kind of real concrete plot. It's just a bunch of guys acting as military, and they're kind of running around the California woods pretending they're in Vietnam, and your mileage may vary. I don't know. This is kind of good micro budget kind of or low budget anyway. They have got helicopters and some guns and stuff, so there is something of a budget there. But very much found footage, down in the shit. And it's kind of funny because in as much as found footage really took off in association with, say, horror or something like that, it really didn't take off in association with war movies, and especially, serious war movies. And this, say what you want about the budget. There have been critiques about the acting and whatnot or whatever else. I guess a few of these guys went on to fairly busy careers and whatnot. I recognize not a single name out of a lot of them, but it just shows you kind of getting up close and personal with these characters that are supposed to be guys out there, fighting in the war. And it's fairly heavy. It's heavy stuff, just you're watching these guys go out there and fight and die and whatnot. And just real potent ending, which I'm going to spoil for you. So 5, 4, 3, 2, etc. where there are about 4 guys left at the end, and they're straggling through this camp that has been hit by this VC camp that has been hit by the American forces, but they're just kind of fighting that way through. They're waiting for the chopper to come down and pick them up. A couple of them are kind of either messed up in the head, they're just really rattled, and or they're shot up pretty bad, and so they're trying to get them all to the copter. And so Mopic, of course, is just running in there, and he gets in the chopper. He and the commanding officer get in the chopper, and the other 2 guys are come straggling along. One's carrying the other guy. And Mopic puts his camera down, of course, because this is found footage, to the vantage point where you can see what's going on. He says, all right, screw it. I gotta go out there and help them. And he runs out there and helps them get onto the helicopter, only to take a couple of bullets for his trouble and end up on the ground, flailing around as they pour more bullets into him, and the chopper goes up and away. The commanding officer screaming, "Mopic, Mopic!" As he flails around and dies or whatever, or worse to worse, becomes maybe a POW. But I just looked at that and I was just like, man, that is like something out of Hemingway. Not like Hemingway wrote about Vietnam or anything, of course, but just the existential angst. This guy who plays passive observer the entire fucking movie, and then he kind of runs out and finally takes action toward the very end, and pretty much ends up getting gunned down and left behind because he ran out and got involved. And really heavy, and you have to imagine, of course, the course of the war, there were those stories. But anyway, yeah, a good little small budget movie that not a lot of people saw, not a lot of people remember. Not streaming anywhere to my knowledge. You can find it. You can find copies of it on YouTube. Might not necessarily be the greatest quality, but worth checking out. Get a look for it.